Liliana with Eventcraft Studio. And yes, it is now almost 1:30, and I am going live now because it's really the only time that I have time to do this because of the kids, and also because I'll admit I am a night owl. So last night I said that I was going to start working on the items for my decor, and I said that I had picked up this I had picked out this wreath from my inventory and decided that we were going to keep it. So now I'm going to make matching items for this. What I want to work on right now is a matching swag, and this is actually pretty quick. I already picked out all my items. I went downstairs into my storage area and found, like I said last night, if anybody saw, I only had this much of the items, not a lot, but it's enough to make a swag. And let me be clear on swags. You have lantern swags. I don't know if anybody saw earlier today that I had swag to go on this. This is what I'm talking about. It's a small swag that I am going to be putting outside in front of our driveway because we have a post out there. So I'm going to make a swag to match. I don't have the same exact materials, but like I said last night, things do not have to be exact. Just go with it, and it's for us to keep anyways. So the first thing that you are going to do, besides getting your materials, is make sure, in my case, I like to work on the bow first. So I don't know if anybody ever makes bows. They're not that hard as long as you have the patience and just make sure that you have the grip on them. So I'm going to make a bow that's going to have about 6 loops. So I'm going to quickly make this, and hopefully you guys could see this. Okay, so it's going to be a 10-inch bow. First thing that I want to do is hold that. I'm going to go out 10 inches. And yeah, guys, it seems like if I'm coming on live, it's going to be at this time, just letting you know. The loops that I use on this, for this swag, are going to be 10 inches. So just hold 10 inches, right? And if you see here, I don't have a lot left, so I'm going to do whatever I can with this. If I have to use the entire roll, I might as well just use the entire roll. Once I have this loop, I'm going to twist it, so that way I have the inside, or basically the nice side facing out. I'm going to measure here, another 10 inches. Hold it like that. And there you go. You have your first little bow area, right? You could say. Take my scissor, cut it at an angle, however you want to cut it, prefer at an angle. And that, you could say, is the first part of my bow. Now I'm going to keep building on that. I'm going to turn these out so that way everything's facing in the same direction. You can see that. Now I want the other side of the bow I'm going to have the other legs, you could call them legs, I'm not sure exactly the name, to be going in the other direction. So I'm going to measure 10 inches again, and I'd rather have too much and then cut it if it's too big than not have enough. So now I'm turning, holding it, twisting it, 10 inches again, and this doesn't have to be perfect. I like to measure it to be to try to be exact, just because it's a little bit easier. And in this case, I'm keeping it, so it's not the end of the world, but I've had family members that always ask me for things afterwards, after we've used them, so it's always nice to at least have it be somewhat nice, so that way it looks nice when they keep it later on. So I made that first loop. Next one is I'm going to measure out 10 inches again. Hold it right there. And there you go. See, it's not that hard. Not that hard. You could go to the craft stores when the ribbon's on sale and stock up or buy a few ribbons, and you can make your own bows, because they sell these bows for like $10, $15 depending. Well, we sell them because I've actually done that as well. So this one I'm going to leave long like that, and I'm just going to have 4 loops here. And then finally, so you see, this is the same ribbon that I use. This is what I had left over when I made this wreath. The other one is going to be the Harlequin ribbon. I'm going to do the same exact thing. 10 inches I'm holding here. I'm going to go in the opposite direction this time. I'm going to measure 10 inches out on my mat. Like that. Twist it. So far. Measure 10 inches again. And this is up to you how much you want to add. If you want to keep it simpler, I want to see it full, so I'm going to add 1 more. Or should we just use this entire roll? You know what? No, I'm just going to do 1 more, keep it at 3, or 2 more. Let's do 2 more. Like I said last night, things don't have to be perfect. I know I said things weren't gonna match, but in this case they are, because I might as well use the ribbon that I have. But the rest of my decor isn't going to be exact. So then another 10 inches again. Oh wait, this time I didn't cut it. No. I'm gonna go back. I want the leg sticking out. So 10 inches there. I'm gonna cut it. Sorry about that. Cut that. And then I'm gonna do the same thing again. The reason I went back is because I don't want only two little tails. I don't want 2 ribbon tails. I want to have 4 tails. So I'm gonna go backwards. I undid that. Do 10 inches, grab 10 inches again. Twist it. 10 inches. Hold it. See? Do 10 more inches. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And now we're talking. See? Now I have the ribbon looking how I want it to look. And I used the whole thing. That's exactly what I wanted. So now, I personally like to use floral wire to do this because I like it to be a little bit tighter. But I don't want to spend a lot of time because I know, like I said, it's late and I don't want to spend too much time. So I'm trying to make this as quickly as possible. So I'm going to use one of these guys, which is a pipe cleaner. Or, like I said, you could use floral wire. Doesn't matter what color it's going to be, just use any floral wire. But I'll use this little guy right here right now. So just hold it. Just make sure you twist it. So you have a nice snug bow. And there's my bow. That's it. You could actually use that bow for anything. See? Simple. I use these on the edge, on the side of my fireplace when I decorate. Which is probably what I'm going to end up doing, making a few of these. If you had seen my Christmas decor, I did a lot of items just like this. A lot of bows that were black and white buffalo plaid, and also with accent of red. So I had tons of bows. I actually still have a whole bag full of them because I made so many bows for the tree, for pretty much anywhere in the house I had bows. So that's the first step. Got that out of the way, right? Put that aside. Now we're gonna work on the actual swag. So you have to decide what is that you want. What do you want? How do you want this to look? I had this left over from this wreath, so I'm gonna start working with these. I want it to look exactly the same or as similar as possible because I already have the material. So why start working with other materials when I already have similar ones, right? So I'm cutting these off. And this is where you're gonna, sorry, I gotta take off this tag. This is where you are going to really need your grip. And I have pipe cleaners. Zip ties. Zip ties are your best friend. Zip ties. Cool, thank you. I saw, I can actually read the comments today. Thank you, Sammy. So I'm holding on to the greenery, right? Holding on to the greenery, and you need a zip tie. I actually took out small zip ties, but I think I should actually grab the bigger ones. They're right behind me. So, we talk about supplies. I'll give you guys a tour of my basement. I overbuy, so I'm a little bit crazy. So this is number 1. I got this. I'm gonna hold this. But then, what flowers do we want? Do we want the same exact flowers? I don't have those flowers anymore. I'm out of these. So I could use this bush. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The thing about these swags is that when you're making them, it's easy to forget that the full part is going to be at the bottom. So this is actually going to look like this at the bottom. Or I could use these flowers. I think these are a little bit too bright. Or the hydrangeas, which I showed last night, which I said I'm going to be using. Get a little bit closer because I know this light's a little bit bright. So let's use the hydrangeas because I'm going to use those on my mantle. Let's start making things a little bit uniform. So I'm only going to use, you know what, let me just cut them off. Why not? I'm already starting, so. And you could get all these materials at Hobby Lobby, which I know they're closed. Michael's, like I said last night, they have curbside pickup. Joann's has curbside pickup. A lot of them have a lot of discounts right now. There are also a lot of online retailers that if you go on just Instagram and start following people that make signs, or just look up wreath materials. There are a lot of people that sell tons of wreath materials. Okay, so I had that done, but I almost forgot one thing, which is this right here, which is the black and white buffalo. If you look at this is called deco mesh. It's that poly material, which I'm not sure what it's called exactly, but since I have this already, I might as well tie it in. You don't have to. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm only gonna cut off 2 pieces, and I think 10 inches, I'm not sure. 10 inches should be enough. So you can use a scissor, you can use a rotary cutter. I have a rotary cutter, so I might as well use that. So I'm gonna cut 2 10-inch pieces, just so that way I'd rather have it in case I decide later on. If I decide not to use it, I'll just put it aside. Okay. So when you're working with your deco mesh, I'm just saying this because I've done this before as a newbie. When you make your little scrunches, you want these sides to be inside. My first wreath that I made like this, I actually grabbed on to the outside. I'm sorry, yeah. And then I had these sides sticking out and the entire wreath frayed. It was a disaster. So what I'm gonna do is, like I said, outside. It's 10 inches, so I'm gonna go to the 5-inch mark in this case, and I'm gonna hold it like that. Right? See that? Okay. That's number 1. I have this bow. I want it to stick out of the bow because that's the whole purpose of me doing this. So, see? You can kind of see it with the bow. In this case, I could take the bow off again. I could undo it, but I'm not. I'm just going to twist it on. I just want it to be as uniform as possible. Or, in this case, as matchy as possible. So I am holding on to this. Excuse me as I struggle. So I hold this on here. And I'm just going to twist it behind it. So you see that? It's not perfect, but we'll see how it looks at the end. If we don't like it, we just take it off. That's the thing. You could always undo anything. So next thing is finally, I'd rather have too much than not enough. So I'm going to cut these guys as well. I'm stuck here. Cut a little bit of more, a few more of these. And for anybody that just joined, it seems like it's going to be a habit of mine to be on really, really late. So, and I'll leave it up for a little while if anybody wants to see it, and I'll also post it to my website and my YouTube channel. So, bow's done. We got that out of the way. We added the deco mesh to it as well. Thank you. And now we are going to work on the swag. So remember, like I said before, this is going to be at the bottom. This is going to be, you have the lantern, this is going to be hanging off the bottom. You want the full part to be at the bottom, and the top is going to be a little spread, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect. But in this case, I'm trying to match my wreath, which I hope nobody buys because it's still on my website. So I'm going to grab a few of these. I'll push these towards the bottom because I want there to be as much, I want it to be full towards the bottom. I'm going to work on, I'm going to hold 2 of these. I'm going to keep one on top to keep it uniform. And then this one. I guess that works. That. Then I want to add some of these, which are kind of small. And this is where it gets tricky. You're going to have to try to step these. So that's where all of these awesome zip ties come in, because you're going to be zip tying a lot. So I'm going to add my first hydrangea. Oops, where'd it go? That one had a tag on it, so I threw it aside. And if you notice, if I hold them all at the same end, this is going to be too high. You're not going to see it. So I'm going to grab it and pull it more towards the back. See that? Grab that. I don't know how many flowers you would want. In this case, I'm going to use whatever. I already used the stem, so I might as well. I already used the bush, I'm sorry. So I'm going to try to step them. A little bit like that. And you can fix it after they're zip tied together. And then one more. There you go. I want to add, I don't have the white florals to go here, so I'm just gonna add this as a little accent to it. So we could make it peek through the sides. Why not, right? There's no rules. Just make it however you want to make it. There you go. So now here comes the fun part. And by fun, I'm exaggerating. I'm being sarcastic because it's actually pretty frustrating. The zip ties. So the zip ties, you have to try to make them. I'm telling you, have zip ties in every length. If I showed you my zip tie container that I have, you think I'm crazy. But I've used like pretty much everything. So now, before you make it tight, you could play with it. You could decide if you're gonna add more, if you're gonna add a little bit less, if you wanted to add more, another bush to it. I'm sorry, another little stem to it. In this case, I am. But if I just added that stem, guess what? I gotta go in and zip tie that one to maybe the hydrangea. But I'm not gonna do that right now. I could come back and do that later. But I just wanted you to see that I'm trying to. Oh, and the other thing is that these flowers, most of these flowers you can move them around. So because they have the wire, so you can play with that afterwards. All right, so we have that. Now we gotta do the top of the swag. So the top of the swag is gonna be pretty much the same thing. I'm gonna use that. Then, do I have any more of the other ones? Oh no, don't tell me I'm out. Nope, I have. So, and it's simple. The top part of the swag is actually has a little bit less. So you have this. I'm only gonna use this one and one. I only want one hydrangea in this case. See that? Just one hydrangea. I want it to be smaller. Now the trick is that you have to hold these like that. They're just white, guys. So you could zip tie them or you're holding them together, hold the second part, zip tie that together and then come back. Me, I guess I'm a masochist when it comes to this stuff because I'm trying to hold it all at the same time. And zip tie it. See that? I'm not really fuzzy because I can't see this stuff perfectly. So, I'm going to use another zip tie to try to hold this as well as possible. I want to make it tight. And guess what? I just forgot that I just realized I didn't add one of the white ones. And I might have zip tied that pretty tight. It doesn't need it, but I want to make them as similar as possible. I want it to match. It doesn't have to, but I want to add it. So I could just cut the zip tie. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut it because I want to add it. So I cut that. And you'll hear me say this over and over and over again. Get a good 4-wire cutter. So now that I have that, going back to the inside, just make sure that they're facing in the same direction because while you're working, it's very easy to lose track of the direction. You'll have one side facing one side, the back, the other side facing the front, and then it's not going to be so easy to bring them back. So once you have that, see now I zip tie them. I can move them around. Just depends how you want them. I try to have them a little bit more than a fistful, but once you're happy with it, you're familiar. Before you actually start cutting the zip ties, see where the ribbon goes. See that? Not too shabby. And how long did this take me? Not that long. What time did I start? 1:30, hasn't even been 20 minutes. And I actually undid things, went back. So, finally, now once you're happy with the placement, you know that the bow is gonna fit right, you're happy with the bow spacing. Sometimes the bow might be too big, so you might have to pull things out a little bit because you don't want the bow to overpower the florals. But once you're happy with it, then you can start cutting out all the long stems. So I'll start cutting out all the extra stems. But once I do that, guess what? It's loose again. So I just add another zip tie to hold that part. I'd rather play safe than be sorry later on. It actually happened to me recently. I try to be lazy and quickly make a zip tie. A swag. And the top part flew off with the wind. So it was by my neighbor's yard. So now I don't do that anymore. So again, the fuller part is at the bottom. If you wanted to add more flowers for it, okay, or you could just pull it around. Now, finally, I have the bow. The bow, I'm going to, where is my zip tie for the bow? Uh-oh, here it is. Have it. Just tighten it right there. And now we fluff up our bows. I like to pull them in different directions. Make sure our ribbons are facing different directions. But I'm not done yet. This is like the easy part. Now, I think it looks okay. See that? Now the thing that I have to do is, and this is what I do to make sure, this is what I didn't do for myself, which is what I do for all my customers because I don't want there to be an accident like happened to me the other day, is once it's secure, I make sure that all the florals are glued in on this end. And I also use leaves to hide, depending, sometimes I may even use ribbon to wrap it up, but I want it to look finished and look pretty. Which is why I do that always, because now, like I said, I've given my items that I'm finished using for the season away. Okay, so that, I think that's looking okay. So I'm gonna be quick about this. I have my glue guns already going. Kids are still asleep. So now that that's done like that, I'm gonna cut this with my awesome wire cutter. And now I'm going to add the, make sure I'm still in the shot. I'm going to add the leaves. I'm gonna cover it. Where are my extra leaves? Here they are. Oh, I have them. So these are leaves that I have left over from other items that I've worked with. Like I said, it doesn't have to be a leaf. It could be, for example, this ribbon is going to be a little bit too long, this ribbon tail. So I could cut this tail and just use it to cover here because, let me show you. That's not that pretty. And it actually hurts when you touch that. So you don't want to touch that. So I'm going to use these leaves. I'm going to cover them. Have my glue gun. Because can't do any crafting without a glue gun, right? And where are my glue sticks? Oh, here are my glue sticks. Have my glue sticks. Thought I had taken them out before, but okay. And I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. And I'll show you the reason why I'm not using tons of glue on it. Because I still need to add one more item. So I use that. I hold it down because I'm trying to cover this. I'm sorry, I'm trying to show you, but at the same time, try not to burn myself because I've already gotten some pretty nasty burns. And a really bad cut crafting that I actually had to get stitches. So I kind of learned my lesson. I don't want to do it again. That should be like a survey that I have. How many, with the crafters, how many people or what type of injuries have you had while crafting? I actually had stitches. Only time while working on a reef. Okay, so you see that? Okay, and then finally, once we have this, how are we going to add this guy to the lantern? Coiled wire. We're going to take coiled wire. I always like to do about I always cut 15 inches, which I know is probably too much, but like I said, I'd rather have too much and cut it than have not enough. I'm going to take this guy right here, this wire, and I'm going to place it more towards the top. Which way am I going to do this? I'm going to do this way, twist it. Yeah, I like to do it in this direction, twist it towards the front. Back like that. Uh-oh, doesn't come out in the middle. This I definitely want in the middle. Twist it. And there you go. Now, once that's in, you could add more leaves, cover this a little bit more, make it look more finished, because right now it's not finished. You have the buffalo mesh kind of all over the place. I don't want it to look that way once it's completed. Like, I wouldn't actually ship that to any customer's houses. Like, we want that to be nice and finished. So that's done. And once that's done, we can start placing it on our, get all this out of the way. On our lantern. Like I'll keep saying, you could use this on a wall, on a door. Does not have to be on a lantern. The lanterns are in. Remember, Farmhouse is not going anywhere. So, like that. Just twist it. There it is. So I'm gonna puff it up, puff up the bows. Move them in whatever direction you want. And finally, you have all these ribbon tails. Sorry. You have all of these ribbon tails. Let's do something with them. Are they too long? Can you curl them up? So I'm gonna use my scissor for some, because it's a little bit too long. You could curl them. Some of them you're going to want to just stick out. I like that. I like them to stick out like that a little bit. This one, look how long this is, but I can't really do much with it. I'm gonna cut it not as much for now. Twist it, turn it in. I want another ribbon tail to be going in the same direction towards the top. Curl that in. This one I'm going to just cut. I don't want it to be curled. See, be careful with your scissors. And then finally the top two. I think we could curl this one. Or do we? Curl that one. And then curl that one as well. And because I'm a little ADD, I like my bows to be opposites. So these are just little things that you do to finish it off. But there you have it. I made my matching swag. And it took me 20 minutes? No, a little bit longer. 30 minutes. Because I talk a lot. If not, it would have been done faster. But there you go. See? Pull this up aside. There's a lot of hazardous stuff here. Matching lantern. Lantern swag. Matching wreath. And this lantern swag, like I said, does not need to go on a lantern. Remember, think outside the box. I always say that. Make it your own. You don't have to do things exactly the way the rules say that they are. Put this on a wall. If you make two of them, you could use them to either side of a door, depending on what look you're going for. In my case, this is gonna go outside, and it's going to go on my lantern post. I'm sorry, on just the post that I have outside the house. I will probably most likely be doing that tomorrow. The wreath will be going outside tomorrow, so I'll be posting that. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll leave this up, and like I said, I will be putting this on my YouTube channel, and also you could access it through my website. So thanks so much. Hope everybody has a great night. Thank you. Bye.